Hey guys, welcome to my channel Mystery Recap. Today I'm going to explain the movie The Grayman. When we first meet Six, he is just a young man named Cortland Gentry doing jail time in Florida State Prison for murdering his abusive father when he was 15. He is not eligible for parole until 2021, but a member of the CIA named Donald Fitzroy gives him the chance to walk out of prison for good if he kills bad guys on behalf of the agency's Sierra program. Cortland agrees. We rejoin Cortland 18 years later. He no longer has a name, instead going by the number 6. His job is to exist in the gray zones of life. This means he is not exactly an individual. He is more of a tool of the United States government, used to carry out covert operations they would rather have the public know nothing about, like assassinations. It's a dangerous life, naturally, but Six takes everything in stride. He is not a particularly emotional man and is entirely matter of fact about his work. He is able to put his life on the line without having a nervous breakdown, beats being on the wrong side of the bars. Even though his life as an assassin is beyond difficult, at least he is not stuck in a jail cell being punished for a justified murder. Instead, he gets to protect people, just like he protected his little brother from the hands of their monstrous father. We learn exactly what kind of man Danny Carmichael is from the moment he orders Six to take out the target, regardless of the fact that a child will be hurt in the process. This is someone who demands his orders to be followed without question and like to keep his secrets buried 6 feet underground. The details are not completely clear, but we also learned that he forced his way into his current position, sending Fitzroy into an early retirement. Carmichael's goal is to run things his way, which includes performing unsanctioned assassinations with private hitmen, rather than agents employed by the US government. This mission that opens the movie sees Six kills 4, another Sierra agent, but he is selling information to America's enemies that documents Carmichael's corrupt activities. Six takes the incorrupted drive that contains this information and mails it to an ally named Margaret Cahill. Once decoded, the drive reveals Carmichael's attempt to eliminate the CIA as it currently exists and rebuild it on his own terms. It's the corruption that makes Six go rogue, although he never explicitly says it in the film. All his decisions reveal that he does what he does because it's the right thing to do. Learning that the new people in charge are only interested in protecting themselves, motivating him to step out of the grave for the first time in 18 years and start doing things his way. In a flashback set 2 years before the events of the film, Fitzroy addresses is leaked online. This is a major problem. The nature of his job means he has a lot of enemies who won't hesitate to murder him, or his niece Claire, whom he is raised since the deaths of her parents. Danny Carmichael will not provide them with a security team, so Fitzroy and Cahill turns to Six for assistance. All Six has to do is keep Claire alive. From what we know about this point, we can tell the approaches each job with emotionless precision. That's exactly how he starts off his babysitting gig. But Claire was born with a heart condition and needs a pacemaker. When it malfunctions, we see a subtle change in the gray man's demeanor. He is not just looking after Claire because he has to, he actually cares about her. After she is released from the hospital, Claire mentions that Fitzroy is the only family she has left. Six says Fitzroy is the closest thing he has to family at all. Claire wonders if this makes them family in some way. Given the fact that Six killed his own father to protect himself and his brother, and the passion with which he takes on a horde of professional killers to keep Claire safe, it seems he truly does consider her to be family. Carmichael's information exists to an incorrupted drive that is hidden inside of a medallion. When Sierra 4 gives Six the drive, he asks him to use it to take Carmichael down. Carmichael understands that Six knows how to disappear and is carrying intel that could end his career and get him locked up for the rest of his life. So he turns to a killer named Lloyd Hansen to make sure Six dies as quickly as possible. Essentially, Hansen is everything Six is not. While Six is measured and calculated person, Hansen is loud, emotional, and reckless. He flaunts his wealth, relishes torturing people, and hates cats. Carmichael seeks his help because they were buddies at Harvard, and he knows Hansen will do whatever it takes to get the job done. If that means killing loads of innocent civilians, well, so be it. As is often the case with heroes and villains, Six and Hansen are twisted mirror images of each other. But both men kill for a living and do so with relative ease. Both are relentless in pursuit of their goals. Hansen even says he thinks he and Six could have been friends. There is one major difference, though Six does his job because it's right. Hansen, in contrast, does it for kicks and the boatloads of money it makes him. There is no gray area when it comes to Hansen. He is evil, and Chris Evans plays him as such. Danny Brenda's first words in The Grayman are said in Bangkok. Do you need anything? Although she does not know it yet, this sets up the fact that she will be Six ally for the rest of the film. To her, this is another job for the CIA. When things go sideways and Six takes matters into his own hands, however, she is forced to make a pivotal choice. Miranda is exceptionally professional, but there is a part of her that knows something is deeply wrong with the CIA. Yet, she takes their abuse and follows orders until meeting Six wakes her up. By all accounts, when Six goes on the run, she should step away and let Carmichael do his job. But she chooses to help Six, just like she chooses to ignore a dismissal from other agents following the murder of Cedar 4. After saving Six from Lloyd Hansen, she tells him that his actions have had a negative impact on her career because they have made Carmichael think. She and Six plan to steal the information, but when Six points out that the CIA has been killing its own agents and she might be the next, she decides to help him find out what's on the encrypted drive. Seeing that Carmichael has been carrying out unsanctioned hits, she officially aligns herself with Six to take Carmichael down. This is more important than her career. Once Lloyd Hansen is hired to find the drive and kill Six, he determines the most effective way of doing so is by doing after Donald Fitzroy. As the film firmly establishes, Fitzroy is basically the father Six never had, which makes him the only person Six truly trusts. Assuming Fitzroy will have information on Six's whereabouts, Hansen kidnaps his niece Claire and threatens to kill her. Fitzroy orders the team to kill Six to protect Claire, but he survives, just as Fitzroy knows he will. He tells his only son about Claire's capture, and from that moment on, Six is not as concerned with surviving as he is with saving Claire. We see in flashback that the abuse Six suffered at his father's hand numbed him to pain. This was the old man's intent. He believed that ignoring pain would make Six succeed in life. While it's certainly true that pain does not seem to bother Six, he can't sit by and allow innocent people to experience it. He protected his little brother in 1995, and now his little sister needs his help. Every decision he makes from here on out is to get to Claire. This is his new mission, and he will do anything, go anywhere, and kill anyone to carry it out successfully. When Six babysits Claire, she notices his tattoo. Since she is incredibly inquisitive, she asks him a bunch of questions about its meaning. He explains that it's a man's name in Greek. This particular man was condemned by the gods to push a rock uphill from all eternity. If you are familiar with Greek mythology, you will have probably already picked up on the fact that it's talking about Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a tricker king who cheated death not once but twice. His fruitless boulder rolling was his punishment, as dictated by Zeus. Claire asks Six if Sisyphus liked pushing the rock uphill, and Six tells her he probably did not. Then she asks if he ever made it to the top of the hill. Six's response is perfect. I will let you know. This conversation, particularly Six's final answer, suggests that Six identifies with Sisyphus. In fact, you can see the entire film as a Sisyphus-like story. Did Sisyphus really deserve damnation for wanting to prolong his own life? Does Scotland Gentry really deserve to go to prison for wanting to keep himself and his brother alive? The Grayman suggests the answer is no. Fitzroy even says he would have done the same thing in Cortland's shoes. Therefore, Six's life as a CIA agent is his version of pushing a rock up a hill. It's an eternal punishment for a justifiable crime. There are three major antagonists in The Grayman. The first two are fairly obvious. Danny Carmichael is the villainous ringleader who sends forth a horde of minions to do his dirty work. Lloyd Hansen is his wild, unpredictable, and borderline rabbit hound who chases everything in sight. But the third antagonist is not revealed until the climax of the third act, even though she is been there the whole time. She is Susan Brewer. For most of the film, Brewer, who is yet another CIA agent, appears to be a cool head in a hot situation. She contradicts nearly every call Carmichael makes and never hesitates to point out people's nonsense. In the end, when Hansen and Six are fighting to the death, she ends Hansen's life. It seems as though she intends to help Six, but in truth, she has her own plans. Brewer intends for Hansen to take the fall for everything that's happened. It will look like he stole the information himself in the hopes of using it for his own gain. All she needs to achieve this is for Six, Miranda, and Carmichael to corroborate her story. They do, and everything goes off without a hitch. The drive is even destroyed to make sure the information never gets out. The one mistake she makes, however, is keeping Claire as a hostage so she can control Six. Hansen puts a hit on Six that's so big. Every professional killer in the world wants to end him. Yet, even in this crowd, bounty hunter Avik-san manages to stand out. He shows up after a car chase in a public area, which results in millions of dollars worth of damage. Worse, Six gets away. When Avik arrives, he becomes Hansen's last hope. Avik is good at his job as Six, and Hansen are at theirs. He hunts Miranda and Six with the patient tenacity of a Terminator. He cannot be stopped and pain does not get in his way. In this, he and Six are very similar. Honor ties them together, and Miranda and Six storm the Croatian headquarters where Hansen has Claire and Fitzroy. Avik gives up the fight. He lets Miranda have the encrypted drive and says he does not care about the money anymore because he has learned Hansen's team has no honor. This, in essence, in the film theme, honor versus dishonor, or good guys versus bad guys. Several times targeted are referred to as bad guys, even when they might not be all bad. It all boils down to motivation. Hansen kills for pleasure, Carmichael kills for power, Brewer kills for influence, Six and Miranda kill to protect people, and Fitzroy kills to save his niece. A dichotomy is clear between those who kill selflessly and those who kill selfishly. This is the film's understanding of good and evil. Hansen is killed and blamed for the events of the film. Miranda's position with the CIA is restored, but she might be planning something else. Carmichael destroys the drive and retains his position. Six is put in custody. Brewer is pretty confident that because she has Claire, she can make Six do whatever she wants. Unfortunately for her, Six still has a mission: protect Claire at all cost. Several characters in The Grayman refer to things going wrong as getting loud. These are people who are supposed to operate in the hushed shadows, unnoticed by the rest of the world, drawing attention as happen when someone or something produces a loud noise is the worst thing they can do. But Cortland Gentry is done being quiet. The CIA is corrupt and he is not going to work on its behalf any longer. Instead, he is going to cast aside the Sisyphus rock and take his life into his own hands. How do we know he is going to do this? He escapes from the hospital, kills everyone he encounters, and tracks down Claire. She finds a note from him telling her to play a record loud. This blocks out the sound of violence just outside her door, but it also signifies Six's intentions. The time to be quiet is over. If there is a sequel, we might see how loud Cortland Gentry can really get, now that he finally has his family and his freedom. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching. If you like it, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel.